Tonight, millions of parents will do something that feels completely normal. They will place their baby into a crib, a quiet room, a soft mattress, a glowing baby monitor. Then they will walk away, close the door, and expect that child to still be alive in the morning. But for almost all of human history, that would have been unthinkable. No crib, no monitor, no pediatrician, no locked house. Just darkness, cold nights, and predators waiting beyond the edge of the firelight. For more than 300,000 years, every parent on Earth faced the same terrifying question. How do you keep alive the most helpless creature nature has ever created? The answer shaped everything about human life. It shaped families, it shaped communities, it even shaped the human body itself. And once you understand how our ancestors solved this problem, you'll never look at parenting the same way again. The problem was simple. Human babies are terrible at being babies. A newborn horse can stand within hours. A newborn chimpanzee can cling to its mother immediately. A newborn gazelle can run from danger before the day is over. A newborn human can do none of those things. It cannot walk. It cannot feed itself. It cannot defend itself. It cannot survive a single night alone. In fact, compared to almost every other large mammal on Earth, a human baby is astonishingly unfinished. And for our ancestors, that wasn't just inconvenient, it was dangerous, because every cry carried through the darkness, every moment of weakness attracted attention, every helpless infant represented both hope and risk. So why did evolution create such a vulnerable child? The answer lies inside your skull. Humans possess the most powerful brains on Earth, but that gift came with a cost. If a human baby remained in the womb until its brain developed as much as a chimpanzee's, it simply wouldn't fit through the birth canal. The baby's head would be too large. So evolution made a compromise. Human babies are born early, much earlier than most people realize. At birth, a human brain is only about a quarter of its adult size. The remaining growth happens outside the womb. This allowed larger brains to evolve, but it also created a problem no other species faced. Our children entered the world before they were ready. The greatest intelligence on Earth came packaged inside the most dependent infant on Earth. And for hundreds of thousands of years, parents had to somehow make that work. Imagine a family living 50,000 years ago. No walls, no electricity, no locks, no emergency room, only a fire burning beneath the stars. Beyond that firelight lived predators, leopards, hyenas, snakes, large cats. Every sound mattered. Every mistake mattered. And in the middle of all that danger was a baby incapable of staying quiet. A baby that could not run. A baby that could not hide. To modern eyes, an infant seems precious. To a hungry predator, it looked vulnerable. So how did humans avoid extinction? How did they protect children that couldn't protect themselves? The answer was surprisingly simple. They never tried to do it alone. Modern people often imagine parenting as a job for one or two adults. Our ancestors would have found that idea strange. Anthropologist Sarah Blaffer Hardy argues that humans evolved as cooperative breeders. In simple terms, raising children was a group project, not because humans were especially kind, because it was necessary. One mother could not carry all the responsibility. The demands were simply too great. A human infant needed constant protection, constant feeding, and constant attention. Without help, survival became much harder. Human civilization was built on a simple truth. Children survived because entire communities helped raise them. The family was never just mother and father. It was everyone. Researchers studying hunter-gatherer groups discovered something remarkable. Among the Efi people of Central Africa, babies are passed between many caregivers throughout the day. Parents, grandparents, older siblings, friends, neighbors, everyone participates. In some cases, A child may be held by more than a dozen different people in only a few hours. Imagine that in today's world. A baby rarely left in one place, rarely left alone, always surrounded by human contact. For our ancestors, childcare wasn't an individual responsibility, it was a shared responsibility, and that network dramatically increased survival. The child belonged to the community, and the community protected the child. Millions of years ago, our ancestors began walking upright. This changed everything, including parenting. Chimpanzee babies cling to their mother's fur. Human babies cannot. We lost most of our body hair. Our children lost their grip. That meant someone had to carry them every day, every hour, for years. Ancient parents likely created slings from animal hides and plant fibers. These weren't conveniences, they were survival technology. A carried baby remained close, warm, protected, hidden. The child stayed connected to the person keeping it alive. And that connection triggered something extraordinary. Have you ever noticed how a crying infant often calms down when picked up? Most people think that's comfort, but scientists believe something much older is happening. It's called the transport response. When a baby is carried, heart rate slows, breathing becomes more stable, crying often stops. Why? Because for hundreds of thousands of years, a crying infant could attract danger. A quiet infant survived. A carried infant survived. The nervous system adapted accordingly. That ancient survival program still exists today. The next time a newborn settles against a parent's chest, you're witnessing a behavior shaped by countless generations of survival, a biological memory from humanity's distant past. Keeping babies safe was only half the battle. They also had to be fed, and ancient parents had very few options. No formula, no bottles, no sterilized water, no supermarkets. Breast milk was everything. It provided nutrition, it provided hydration, it provided protection against disease. In a world without medicine, it was one of the most powerful tools a mother possessed. Many hunter-gatherer societies breastfed for years, not because it was fashionable, because it worked, and because survival depended on it. Eventually, children needed more than milk, but there were no jars of baby food waiting on a shelf. Instead, adults did something that sounds strange today. They chewed food first: meat, roots, plants, anything tough enough to challenge an infant. The food was softened inside an adult's mouth before being passed to the child. This process helped digestion and made eating safer. It may even explain some surprising aspects of human bonding behavior. What seems unusual now was once completely normal. For ancient parents, the goal wasn't comfort, the goal was keeping children alive. Then comes one of the most fascinating mysteries in human evolution. Why do human women often live decades after reproduction ends? Most animals don't. From an evolutionary perspective, it seems unusual, but anthropologist Kristen Hawkes proposed a powerful explanation. Grandmothers mattered a lot. Older women gathered food, shared knowledge, watched children, helped mothers recover, helped families survive. This became known as the grandmother hypothesis. According to this idea, children with helpful grandmothers survived more often, and over thousands of generations, that advantage shaped our species. Your long lifespan may owe something to grandmothers digging roots beneath the African sun thousands of years ago. Now compare that ancient world to today. Many parents raise children in apartments, far from relatives, far from neighbors, far from support networks. A crying baby at 3 a.m., two exhausted adults, sometimes only one, and nobody is coming. For most of human history, this situation would have been almost unimaginable. Parents weren't expected to carry the burden alone. The workload was shared. The responsibility was shared. The exhaustion was shared. Modern parenting often asks one or two people to perform a task once handled by an entire community. And that difference changes everything. This story isn't really about babies. It's about humans. Again and again, our species succeeded, not because we were the strongest, not because we were the fastest, not because we had claws or fangs. We succeeded because we cooperated. We shared resources. We shared responsibility. We shared knowledge. The survival of every child depended on relationships, and those relationships became the foundation of human civilization itself. Our greatest adaptation may not have been intelligence. It may have been each other. For 300,000 years, human beings faced the same challenge, keeping alive a child that could not survive alone. And generation after generation found the same answer: more hands, more support, more people who cared. Every person alive today exists because countless ancestors carried children through danger, hunger, disease, and uncertainty, not alone, together. And perhaps that's the most important lesson they left behind. Human beings were never meant to survive alone, and they were never meant to raise children alone either. So here's a question. What surprised you most about how ancient humans raised their children? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering how our ancestors really lived, consider subscribing for the next journey into the past.